You guys, I am so excited. I have Erika, the Queen of Confidence, on the podcast today.
Yeah.
She is my life coach, a mentor, an idol, someone I look up to, a sister, a friend, and someone who has helped me literally change my life. Whew, I'm gonna get already crying.
Oh, I love you so much.
You have literally helped me, change my life. The things you do in the sisterhood, the tools, techniques, just being there, just being seen and heard. Um, it's incredible. And I'm so honored to have you on the podcast today to say, that you want to come on. But I think it's important that I give you your flowers, your props, and pay my respects, because what you're doing and what you have done for me is freaking incredible. And you've also taught me to cry proudly. Like, for so long, people would tell me, like, they'd look at me weird, like, why are you crying? Because I cry at everything. I'm happy, I cry. I'm sad, I cry. Any emotion, angry, I cry.
Yeah.
And when you said, cry proudly, that was a game changer in my life, because now I do cry proudly and I help other women to do the same. When they're like, sorry for crying, I'm like, don't be sorry. Like, I don't apologize for that. So that's one of the many things I'm sure I will tell you more on this
Oh my
podcast.
God. I love you. I just want to say thank you for having me. And oh my God, you have a podcast.
Yes.
Yes, you do. I love you. And I have to correct you because thank you, but you did it. You doing it. Like there's so many, you know that this work, and as you're becoming a coach and working with women and doing this now, there'll be so many people that your heart will just be like, I know this is helpful. I know you can do this. I can see it for you. I can taste it for you. Like you might fast forward into their lives and see them having an amazing life, and then they never do anything with it because
Yeah.
it's at the end of the day, it's each person. So thank you for the flowers. I'm gonna give them right back to you because you did that. Like you showed up. You're doing the work every day. You show up. Your energy is fucking beautiful. Your man's energy is beautiful. You're the gorgeous women that get to work with you. You all are blessed if you work with this amazing human being because she cares from her whole heart and soul. And I know you put so much into it. Like just watching you bloom, watching you take over, watching you shine. Just it delights me. Like my life is so happy watching you do what you do, and I'm so grateful that you get to do this. And I'm fucking honored to be here. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank
I
you
love
so
you.
much. I would love to start off with you introducing yourself. So introduce yourself to the
Yeah,
people.
yeah. Hello, everyone listening to this amazing podcast. You are very smart if you're listening. Please tag us so that we can share all the things. So, Erika Cramer used to be Sepulveda. I'm American, Puerto Rican descent, have been in Australia for about 13 years, and now work as a coach, supporting women with self confidence, self belief, self trust to show up and take up space in life and business. I recently started supporting coaches, therapists, and healers to do somewhat of what we've done in their own way. So I help women with that, and I'm an author. I have a book called Confidence Feels Like Shit because it does. It is hard, and a podcast. um, yeah, a proud Latina. There's not many Latinos here in Australia, and so I'm really, really grateful that I was able to have a really crazy ass life and be able to do this work and meet my beautiful husband who introduced me to this so I can support women. And just like you said, I think we need to see examples, women of color doing the damn thing, be an example of what's possible. And so my aim is to not only kind of support women, but also for those that I never get to meet, empower them to go, fuck, if she did it, I could do it. And like, let's go get it. Let's go change this world and get the shit that we want and create the life we desire. And so on Instagram, it says I'm a confidence coach and a business mentor and an author. But I just feel like a woman's bestie, whether it's in business or personal. I want to be that big sister that maybe you never had, I didn't have, that goes, yo, you could fucking do this. Stop tripping. You're amazing. Let's go. Like, what are you doing wasting time? Get back up, girl. Let me kick you in the booty with love. So I feel like I want to be everybody's big sister, hype girl.
Yes, I love that. You totally are. You
Mm,
totally are for me. Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
I feel like our childhoods play a huge role and shape us into who we are today.
Yeah.
So I would love to know what it was like growing up as young Erika.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was just looking at photos recently because we've been sharing a lot of our origin story. And I was seeing a photo of me with like a peace sign. I got my eyes being like trying to be funny. And I have a kid like that. Both of my kids are crazy like that. They're confident as hell, of course. But the little one with the curly hair who looks like me a lot, he reminds me of how I was. I was just this like, I like to think back and go, oh man, that would have been so hard to grow up in foster homes and be sexually abused. And my dad took me away from my mom. He kidnapped me from my mom and I wasn't with her. And a single mother, only child, real fucking traumatic physical abuse, like crazy sexual abuse, a lot of abandonment issues. And I always think about it as a grown up, like, oh, that would have been so hard for her because I'm a mother. But when I look at my photos and when I tap into my child's self, she was happy. She was bubbly. She was trying to make the best out of a bad situation. She didn't know what we know now as adults. We intellectualize so much. She didn't know what was happening, you know? So I think she always wanted to be friends with everyone. She loved people, like she loved people. And I still love people. I've been loving me some strangers, you know, just talking to strangers, like so American, like, hey, good morning, how are you in the elevator? But she was a real, like, had a beautiful personality and loved talking to people and very communicative and chatterbox and performer. But I think there was like dark sides, you know, with the childhood, dark sides of little subconscious signs of my mom. When she would get sick, they would put me in a foster home, and I knew I had family around the corner. And no shade to my family now, obviously, like raising kids isn't easy, and taking on your sister's kid, but they weren't very close, but like they never took me. And so as a kid, I was like, why doesn't my family take me? Why do I have to go live with these white people? And no shade, right? But like the white people that were rich and we lived in the hood and they were in the nice side of town and they didn't look like us, they didn't sound like us. I felt very much like, oh, I'm lucky to live with the nice white people, but why am I not with my family? So I think she got a lot of subconscious abandonment, subconscious, something's wrong with you. My dad leaving, like, I didn't choose you because something's wrong. So kids don't know. They just think, oh, it's my fault. Like, mommy must be sad because of me, or this must have happened, because we're so egotistical as kids, you know? So
Yep.
yeah, it was like this whole like, the message was, you're a piece of shit, you're not good enough. You got to fix yourself. You got to be something else. And it created a real interesting adolescence of me trying to be every what's that called, like stereotype. Like I was an emu, I was like
Yeah.
a headbanger, then I was like preppy, then I was like, oh my god, then I was like gangsta bitch, which was always what I was, you know, like trying to fit in. Like I was like drama, nope, I'm gonna do cheerleading, nope, I'm gonna play football. Like I think it gave me like, who the fuck am I, this lack
Mm,
of self-belief and self-confidence. Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Um, you spoke about like you've achieved so much in your life already, and I know you want to do more, but
Yes.
you know, you're an author, you're a life coach, you've got hundreds of women in the sisterhood, you've helped change so many women's lives.
Mm.
And I would love to know, like, what do you think is the key factors to your success?
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so here's what I think. I think you have to have a fire. Like you got to have an inside blaze, and it takes so long to find the thing that is the blaze, the fire starter. You know, I think we want to force fires, and it's like, if inside of you, when you think about the people you want to help, or you think about your work, or you think about your job, if it doesn't create some kind of emotion in you, I mean, you are the same. I'll be crying all the time. You already know this. I cry all the time. It's ridiculous, but I love it. I'm like, fuck it, we're just emotional beings. You know, like we're feeling things because this work is
Mm,
important. So I think that you have to have an internal driver. It can't be money. It can't be fame. It can't be vanity, Instagram metrics. It can't be because your dad said you should do it. It can't be because your partner wants you to. It has to come from inside of you. And it could be a seed, a little seed, but it's your seed. It's in there. And if you water it and you talk to it, it starts to grow into this crazy ass plant, right? I like the fire because I am on fire for this shit. Like it wakes me up, it gives me energy, it
mm,
puts me to sleep. And like some shit will happen, but that fire's in there burning. And I can really see when someone has an internally lit fire versus externally, they look like they're on fire and they're killing it. But inside,
mm,
it's like nothing, like ambers are dead. It's like ash. And I can't fuck with ash because that's gone. I can't light that again. Like if you got some kind of burn in there, even though it's been tried to be put out, no one will stop that because I will catch fire. You catch fire, you know, that like what, and then you're on flow. You can do what you want to
mm,
do. So I think you have to have that internal drive, fire, why, vision, mission, whatever you want to call it. and then you have to give it a go. Like you got to give it a crack. You got to be consistently going for it, because you're going to fall down and you will get doors slammed in your face. You're going to go,
Mm,
the wrong way, air quotes, wrong way, and trust it. That's the right way. But if you don't discover that, and you're trying to have it all sorted, and you want the map, and you want the directions, and you want to know when and where and how and what initially before you even take a step, like that's going to sabotage. So if you can be consistent, if you could show up, even though you don't know who the fuck's going to watch or no one watches, and have
mm,
that fire, like you believe it's already done and you act as if it's done, even though no one's watching you and you ain't nobody and nobody watches your YouTube or listens to your podcast, you're like, fuck it, I don't care. Someone will.
yes.
And you play hard like that to me is like play hard when no one's watching kind of thing, you know?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, that speaks to me so much. And when I started So Extra, I was chasing that money. Like, I just want to make
Yeah.
money. I want to
Of
make
course.
lots of money. Got the money. And then I was like, wait, but what's my passion?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is not it. What is it? Trying to find something else. And thanks to you and doing the work and stuff, I feel like I've found that. And
You
it
so
really
have.
is now that that fire within you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's beyond you, right?
Another
It's about other people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing that I have learned from you is to not care, fuck what other people think.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of my favorite modules in the sisterhood, because I needed that so much.
Yeah.
Where I was in a place that I was when I started the sisterhood. I actually won that award as well, the Ghost to Growth, because I came in and I was like, yep, I'm ready to do this. I paid my money, did my
Yeah.
little intro video,
Got my
and then I
t-shirt.
went off and I was ghost. I
Yeah.
was ghost. And then I came back and I was like, no, okay, I'm ready to do this. But the
Yeah.
thing that changed within me was that I stopped caring what other people, because in the group I was like, oh no, I can't post in here. What are the ladies
Yeah.
gonna think? They don't look like me. They don't know they don't know Polynesian leash. Like, I can't be my fully expressed self,
Yeah.
and then they're not gonna resonate. But once I
Mm.
stopped caring about what they thought, you see me now, I'm in there all the time. I'm,
What? They love you.
on my social media, everything, and it was not caring what other people think. So I would
You're a
love for
leader.
you to
Yeah.
to speak on that.
First of all, you're a leader in there. And before you were a leader, now you're a leader. But before you even were an official, like, hey, listen to me. People listen. People get, you
Mm.
have this beautiful magnetism. And I knew when I met you, I was like, I love her. She's cool. Where's she from? She's not from here. Where's she from? She's from New Zealand. Oh, she's Polynesian. Okay, cool. I love her. Like, like I love that about Australia. There's people from so many different countries. And when you
Mm.
can, when somebody allows you into their juice, like into their fire, like a little bit, you get to see it and you're like, oh, I love that. That's amazing. So I could see that we have a lot of resonance, and
Mm.
synchronicity. And so when you had that, when now I was so proud to give you that award, I was like, Alicia Tomasi, you're winning this award. Like, and we have the video. So like, it's so
Mm.
good to see that. I love video for that. And then you did that reel where you shared your story. I didn't know you were a stewardess, and you're
Oh,
like, oh
yes.
my God, look at you. Like, it's like these, it gives me chills if I'm honest. Like, it's like these layers, the shell, the protection. I feel like it's protection that
Mm.
I wore it too. Like, and the protection doesn't let people know who you are. So like there's this protection that's not really you. So then people mistaking the protection for you. And you're like, oh, she's quiet. Oh, she's standoffish. Oh, she's whatever it is. Or, oh, she's really strong and powerful. But like that's protection. So there's all this
Mm.
protection. And then it started to like peel away. And I love that you said that, because a lot of people want to join any course, any program. And they're like, I'm going to do this. And then it doesn't work. And some people will go, oh, it's shit. Nothing works. And they
Yeah.
stay with that. Or they go, actually, hold on. Have I been playing in this? Have I been in the driver's seat or been the fucking muffler at the back of the car dragging ass? And it's like, okay, I've been in the back seat. Let me get back in the front seat. Let me see what happens. And you did that and you showed up and people were like loving you. Like you have this, and those of you listening, I know you listen because of this, because I love her because of this as well. But like you have this beautiful magnetism about you and this energy, this vibe, your vibe, right? Like
Yeah.
you have that. And so you don't have a business called So Extra if you don't have that inside of you. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm.
it's like beautiful to see that. And then from that, like so many beautiful relationships. Everybody's your accountability sister. Everybody wants to be your
Mm.
buddy, So there's beauty in being scared for people to see you. There's beauty in holding back and not being who you know yourself to be. There's beauty in caring about what people think about you, because then you can really see it. You can be like, fuck, I don't want this result. This is not what I want. So if anybody's listening and you're there, we don't expect you to magically listen to us and be like, all right, yeah, fuck what people think. It's easier said than done. If any module, that one and self-love, I think is easier said than done. So I really just want to acknowledge you for doing it, because you did it, or you said, fuck it, I'm just going to show up. And because you did that, the result is people magnetized to you. Nobody cared about what you said. Not only did they not care, they were inspired by you. You've made friends. You helped other people. People you will never know, Alicia, you helped. They'll never be able to tell you because they have that still themselves. And it's like, wow, all that from a lie that I was telling myself that wasn't true. And I stepped into it. So that you just embody FWOT, which is like, fuck what others think, or forget what others think. If you don't want to swear, teach it to my kids. My son is in that right now. He's in like, oh, I don't want to do that. What are they going to say? And I'm like, baby, who cares? And then I thought, be humble with him, because he's 7 years old and he doesn't know. And he's in this belonging and trying to fit in. And the more I exemplify what that looks like I rolled up to the drive-through of McDonald's, don't judge me, listening to the Labyrinth soundtrack. I don't know if you remember that 1980s movie, this fucking David Bowie, The Labyrinth. And it was the most ridiculous ass song. And my son's like, Mom, you got to turn that down. I'm like, I am FWOT. And he was like, oh my God, seriously. And like jokingly, but I was also kind of showing him like, I don't give a damn what these people think about me. I'm going to be the dance, magic dance. And I'm like, I mean, my hash brown, thank you. Like, so it's hard to show it. But I think that if you're a parent or you're a leader like yourself, like myself, we have to be the example. So people won't know how to do it, but we got to show, what does it mean to not care what people think? And it's not that we don't care. Of course we care. It's just, we're not going to let it stop us. So you're going to care what people think about you. You're going to care what your family or your community or your culture or your race or your religion or whatever, background, you're going to care. We're designed to care. We're tribal people, right? We want to be a part of a tribe.
Yeah.
But how far will you take it? Will you not go for that job? Will you not show up on social media? Will you not speak up and move out of your parents' house because you're worried about what they're going to think about you? Because if that's the case, then now it's preventing you from expressing, from living, from creating. That's danger zone. Care, but don't let it stop you, because you're not going to get what you want.
Yes, I love that. Care. Yeah, because we do care. That's so true. We do care, but don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you from doing what you want to do.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So the current module that I'm in, I love all your modules. The current module that I am in is the money module.
Yes.
And I have been in and out of that module so much. This whole year, even last year, I was in it, and I'm still in it. And I find it, I was going to say hard, but I don't know if the word is hard, but coming from where I came from, government housing, we used to get food grants, very similar to WINS was what it's called in New Zealand, for our uniforms, for food, for everything. We had to go to this place and get grants and stuff like that. And coming from that and having a real scarce mindset, never enough, there's not enough food, there's not enough money, there's not enough anything really. And then coming into the space that I'm in, I've grown so much from it, but no matter how much money I get, I still feel like it's never enough. I feel like I never have enough money.
Yeah.
And so many of my followers can relate. I've had a few people message me, about money and caring what other people think, really. So I'd love to know, what's one tip that you can give to someone to help them change their scarcity money relationship?
Yeah, I hear you on that, because it's big. Same, like if you don't know, same exact thing. Grew up on welfare, food stamps, food donations, single mother, always heard we can't afford that. I want to go to Disneyland. We can't afford that. It's too expensive. Like what? It's like shit. So that was just drilled in. And so one thing that I feel like it's the one thing that helped me, the one intellectualized thing, and then the second thing I'll tell you was just fucking doing it and then seeing the universe respond. And the doing it was scary. So the first one, let's say the first big statement that changed the game for me when it comes to money is, I would say, I can't afford it. I don't have the money for that. Oh, I don't have the money for that. I want to go to New Zealand, but I don't have the money for that, let's say. And a girlfriend of mine who was in a program with me, it was a business program. Your girl over here did not have a business. I was just up in this cult, like just want to be a part of a community, but I didn't have a damn business being in that business program. And she was like, I was like, oh, I don't have the money. And she was like, flip that. What you need to say is, how can I create the money? What do I need to do to create the money? It was a different question. One was no question. It was full stop. Like, I don't have it. I don't have the money. I can't have the money. It's not in my bank account. The other one was like, how do I create the money? What would it look like if I could create the money? Or if I could create the money to go to New Zealand, what would that look like? How do I create it? And so it went from I don't have it to I'm a creator. I can create it. And I know myself to be a creative person, just like you. Like we create, like I make shit. Like as women, whether you have a baby or you don't, that womb space, that sacral is that is a creation space. Like we are the creators, we're the OG creators. So I was like, okay, what would that look like if I created it? Now, I always go to selling something or a product or a service that I make in my business, but you could create it in your current budget. Maybe you spend money on nails and getting your eyelashes done once a month, and you got Netflix and Stan, right, to watch TV, whatever. And you don't have any more money to fuck with, but you could be like, you know what? I'm not going to do my regrowth. I'm going to go to L'Oreal, and I would never tell anybody to do this, but I'm going to go to the chemist. Let's just say times are tough. I'm going to do my own regrowth. I'm going to get some press-ons, right? And buy a drill, and I could redo them myself. And I'm not going to do lashes for 3 months. And I'm going to cut Stan and just keep Netflix, right? Ridiculous. But this is real shit. Like, I'm not going to go out for breakfast. That's $40 every breakfast. I'm not going to go out on the weekend. You know, I'm going to say no to XYZ. You're not creating the money, but you're making money work for you that you currently already have. So you already have that money. You're already spending that and you're good with that. You're not making more from a new source, but you're taking away and you're saying, actually, I'm not investing in that anymore. That's not that important. I'm going to save that. I'm going to put that over here. And that's the shit when I talk about money that triggers people. But I'm like, fuck that. I grew up with a fucking single mother, welfare food stamps, poor as hell. Our food stamps got declined. So don't play like we didn't have a car. We took the bus and that shit wasn't cool. So unless I'm talking to a third world country person, I don't know that poverty. I wasn't from a third world country. But if you're in a Western world, you got an iPhone, like, do not tell me you don't have money. You got money. You just don't know where that shit is going. And you care about where it goes right now. So reallocate funds. And then the second thing is, if you are in business or you work for someone and you want to create, how do you create money? You add value. Where can we add more value? Where can you become so valuable that your boss gives you a pay rise? Where can you become so valuable that the product that you sell solves such a big problem that people go, fuck, I need it? Because we're like, I feel like we're about to hit a recession right now at the time of recording this. And I'm like, ooh, them interest rates keep going up and I have 2 mortgages right now, girl. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is happening? And people are tightening up. So what a great time. What are they tightening up though? They're not tightening everything up. Alcohol sales are up. You know, like there's a lot of shit that is not tightening. So it goes to show you that what we value, we invest in. I value what I spend my time and my money on. I value. And if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know where my money goes, have a look at your bank statement. It's hard to look at that shit, but have a look like, oh, okay, so I did that. That's where it went. So just track where it's going. Because if you say, I don't know where it goes, that's like a little cop out of self that you will never know. And you're just going to keep yourself broke. So number one is, don't say, I don't have it. Think, how can I create the money? What can I sell? What service can I provide? How do I create money? And I know myself as a creator. So every time I get stuck, I'm like, fuck that. I'll just make an event. I'll just do this thing. I'll just open this program. The second one is lived. The second one is, you don't have money, but you believe that the thing you're about to sell or the program you're about to launch is going to work. So I had a retreat in Bali. I never did a retreat in Bali. I was watching YouTube videos about how to do a retreat in Bali, breastfeeding my son. The venue wanted $3.5 grand. And my husband was like, where the fuck? We were so broke, Alicia. Like, this is the beginning of our business and the beginning of sisterhood and everything. And I'm like, well, we need to put a deposit. So he didn't want to pay the deposit, but I'm like, the deposit allows us to sell it. And he was like, I don't know about that. And I'm like, this is how it works, Hamish. And he was fighting me because the current reality is we don't have money for the deposit. But if I don't find the money for the deposit, I can't sell the tickets, which will be 50K. That retreat, you'll make 40 grand and you're going to pay 3. I mean, but you got to pay the 3 to make the 40. So sometimes you just have to share it. Sometimes you just have to promote the event and hope people buy tickets. And sometimes they do, and other times nobody flopped. But that's that risk when it comes to creating. So those are the 2 things that I would say were the biggest movers for me. And now whenever if I ever sweat money, I'm just like, you're a creator, bitch. Make some shit happen
Yes.
and
I
trust
love
yourself.
that.
Because you've done
Yeah.
it in the past. Look at you. You have so much
Yeah.
experience. You got so much evidence. And you're like, actually, have
Yes.
I ever been fucked? No. Have I ever
Yeah.
allowed myself to hit rock bottom like on purpose? No. And if I did,
Mm.
have I overcome it? Yes. If your answer is yes, then you're just scared, but you haven't looked at your evidence.
Yes, absolutely. I totally relate to that part. You know, you've got to invest the money to get the bigger, and I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I can invest the money, but that's what I needed to hear. Like,
Yeah. It was
do
like,
it,
fuck.
create it, just do it.
Exactly. And trust yourself. Cause
Yes.
your track record is you're alive. You've always won,
Mm,
like you're gonna be fine.
yes. I love that. Yeah, that evidence. This podcast is called Life Lessons with Leash.
Woo.
And, you know, it's all about our lessons. And one of my favorite questions is to ask, what has been your hardest lesson in life?
Your hardest lesson in life. Dun dun. Fuck. Okay. Let me go to what comes. What comes. The word I just got, just looking to the side, was worthiness. Like that was the
Mm,
word that came. And I was really uncomfortable in who I was and how people saw me. And there's still moments of discomfort of who I am and how I am. I am fully expressed. This is me 100%, but it doesn't mean I'm always comfortable. I did a speaking engagement in March and I was dressed like Cat Williams. I don't know if you know who he is, but he is this hilarious ass comedian, right? And he dresses like a pimp. He's fucking
yes.
hilarious. He's tiny, crazy dude. And I'm in Australia. Nobody knows who he is, but this lady I was with is American. And I was like, I was wearing a hat and like a jacket, suit jacket with like a shirt buttoned all the way up. So very masculine, but also feminine. I had my nails and I felt good. I felt like I was a very Melbourne outfit for Brisbane. But anyway, that was my choice. And I'm like, I was like, damn, I should have wear that shit to Melbourne. It was a lit outfit. It was very like, if I could be, I had a necklace from House of Dizzy. Shout out to House of Dizzy, an indigenous brand who makes beautiful earrings and necklaces. And she
Mm.
made me a custom necklace that says Queen. So I was
Oh, yes. I
so
know this
extra.
outfit.
You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
extra, next level extra. Like my
Yes.
nails were
I
fucking
loved it.
Swarovski bling. I was crazy. And a hat. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm in Brisbane. I am in Australia. Oh, I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. Like I kind of looked androgynous, a little bit masculine, but still womanly. And like I was very like pushed to my fashion out there,
Mm.
ridiculous limits, but felt so good. And it was so funny because I got on that stage and before I got on, I was real nervous. And now, no offense to Brisbane, I love you, Brisbane, but like Sydney was the first event. There was 1,000 people. If I'm going to be nervous for that event. And I was, but I
Mm.
got on stage. I was fine. Melbourne was home, 1,000 people. And my hometown, my husband was there,
Mm.
1,000 people. I was nervous. I was crying the whole fucking time, almost cried on stage. And then Brisbane was like the sandwich in the middle. There was 700 people. I didn't know anybody. It was cool. I already did one. It was cool. But I
Mm.
got this moment, Alicia, of like heart palpitations. And it was like, and I got so nervous, like, fuck, am I good enough? Can I do this? Like, do I know what the
Mm.
fuck I'm doing? What the fuck are you doing? What are you wearing? What are you going to say? You're Spanish girl, like the stupid Spanish girl shit. That's the main belief that, I've befriended it almost because I know it's there to level me up and I know it's not true, but man, she comes. She's like, "You stupid Spanish girl. What the fuck are you doing? You don't know shit. You don't know how to communicate
Mm.
properly. You don't speak good English. Like you swear like you're from the hood. Like you're such a street. Like look at your earrings and hoop earrings." And like she just has this narrative that she thinks she's this dirty immigrant Latin shit
Mm.
person that's got a fucked up life. And she doesn't see herself as the amazing, fun breath of fresh air that the world sees her as. And so
Mm.
she comes out and she was out there in Brisbane and I was just like, fuck, like, but I had to just be like, nah. And I stood up on that stage and it makes me emotional. I did this reel recently that I found. Oh, it makes me emotional. And the audio was like, you're the woman for the job, like
Mm.
oh, like, get up, girl. You're the woman for the job. Like, it's you. Let's go. And it was like short audio, but fuck. And I'm walking on that stage, and that was in Brisbane. And I remember how I felt like, fuck, I'm going to take up space right now. Shit. You know, will they accept me? Am I enough? Is this enough? Am I too much? And I fucking walked on the stage, and I was like, fuck it. I'm here. What are you going to do? You're on the goddamn stage. You
Yeah.
know, you open your mouth. But that's been my biggest lesson is like, am I too much? Am I enough? Am
Mm,
I, you know, smart enough? Am I too Spanish? Am I too ethnic? Am I too, you know, like, and the answer is yes and no. You know, like some people fucking yes, you're being too much, and other people no. So, you know, every day I fight that, like that, be who the fuck you are, fully express. What do you want to say? Say it. Why don't you want to say it?
mm,
Fuck that. Say it. Do it. Let people hate or love, whatever. Like that's not about you. And so that's been my biggest lesson of like worthiness. Am I enough? Am I wanted? Am I good enough? Can I do this? Is it true what I want? Is it true that I'm good? You know, all that. Like it's been a worthiness lesson for sure.
mm.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. It actually brings me comfort just to
Yeah.
know. I know it sounds weird, but it
No,
does
I
bring
hear
me
you.
comfort because, I see you doing all these amazing things. And I'm like, wow, how is she doing all that? And
Yeah.
then to know like you're going through these things, like I felt the things you just talked about was what I felt coming onto this call. Like, what the
Wow.
hell? I'm about to talk to Erika. Like, what the,
Yeah.
who am I? Why would she want to? Is my questions good? So
So
just
good.
knowing that you go through it as well, right? You
Yeah.
go through, you're human,
Yeah.
it's normal.
Yeah. And again, it's back to that FWOT thing, right? It's like you're gonna care, but
Yeah.
don't let it stop you. Look at you. You're on the
Yes.
podcast, you're asking the questions. Look at me. I talked on the stage. I stood up there. That would have been
Yes.
awkward to not say shit. But like it's like that fearful like I hate when people say it's fearless. Like nobody's fucking fearless. Okay, we
Yeah.
scared. We over here scared, showing up scared, like
Yeah.
worried as fuck, like skid marks in the undies, like, oh my God, like I was sweating my
Mm,
ass off in Brisbane and it was hot up there, but I was also like, I was nervous. And
mm,
then it's like, you did it. And then the more you do that, the less you think you can't. But I don't think you ever get to, I got this forever. Who cares? Like,
mm,
because you care, you know?
yeah. Yeah, you do care. You want to do good.
Yeah, you want to do good. And I think
Yeah.
that's good. That's very humbling to, I think that's humbling. I think I'd be worried if I ever was like,
Yeah.
even sisterhood days, I'd be nervous. I was so
Yeah.
nervous in the sisterhood day. And then that shit wasn't ready on time and I can't handle that. Like, I get nervous at sisterhood days because I want it to be good for the women and especially the women that have been
Yes.
there for a long time. Cause I'm like, they've been here for a long time. We need to bring some fire. So the
Yeah.
old sisters push me and Hamish to come with new shit. So then we're always leveling up our own, we're learning other shit.
Yeah.
So we could bring what we're learning every time back into that program, which means it's never the same event or never the same program because we're never the same people.
Yes.
Like that's from them. Like they're pushing us without them
Yeah.
even knowing it, you know?
Yeah. Those sisterhood days are incredible.
Yeah.
If you could teach your kids one thing you didn't have growing up, what would it be?
One thing I didn't have growing up, what would I teach them? I would teach them about, I'm teaching them now about their thoughts create their feelings, which create their actions, which create their results, and that they are the ones that get to do that, that they are the ones that get to choose, not choose, choose what thoughts they want to believe. They
Mm,
get to see that thoughts are thoughts until you pursue them, until you get obsessed about them, and then thoughts become things, as Abraham Hicks says. You
mm,
know, so thoughts of I want a podcast and now you got a podcast, or thoughts of I'm not good enough to do anything and then you do fucking nothing. So thoughts become things, and teaching them that your thoughts create that feelings and that no one can make you feel anything, that yes, they help, but it's your choice. Like you're the captain of the ship. And I'm teaching them that now. And they're just like, okay, mom, yes, thoughts, feelings. I'm like, fucking, you don't understand. This is gold. Forget about math and algebra and bullshit at school that they teach you. You
yes.
learn, you learn that your thoughts are creating your reality. You're done, like unlimited. Like I said to my husband, if I, you know, when I die, because I will die at one point, my spirit will live on, but I will be gone, right, physically. And I'm like, if I had a lot of dollars, like when our business does fucking huge shit, I'm like, if I'm gonna leave, someone asked me for a money magazine, was like, would you give your kids an inheritance? And I'm like, yep, I will leave them dollars, but they will have to complete a series of personal development motherfucking things that when they
Yes.
get that money, they're gonna be so like, They need to do Joe Dispenza, Byron
Yeah.
Katie, Eckhart Tolle, like
Yes.
all that shit. You do the sisterhood modules, you can have the money, because I know that then they'll be like such well-rounded people that they'll know
Yeah.
what to do, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that's what I would do as well. Like usually
Yeah.
parents are like, you need to go to school and get an education. It's like, no, do all
Yeah.
these personal development
Yeah.
things and then you can have the money. I love that.
Exactly. That's it. Then you'll know what to do as well. You'll be a good human. Like learn to be a good
Yes.
human, not a smart human, not an educated. Education's
Yes.
beautiful, but you gotta be a good person. Like you gotta heal your shit so you can be kind in this world, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm,
We're coming to the end of the podcast, but I thought so. You were in the military and you were
yes.
also a model.
Yeah.
And it's just a question. Like I always want to hear stories about these kinds of things, and I feel like you kind of gloss over it a lot. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like I just want to know, like, what was it like being in? Is the military how they like? Do you have to do boot camps and everything like that?
Yeah. Yeah. That was so interesting. I think I was speaking to a friend of mine who was like, I think you were just looking for ritual and you were looking for
Mm,
structure, but subconsciously. Because as a kid,
yeah.
I was like, fuck you, don't tell me what to do. Rah. I was like so hype and crazy. Um, very crazy and like angry. I was an angry kid. I got angry as a kid. And I think that carried on into my adolescence and then carried on into my drinking and all the
Yeah.
problems that I was having. So, I was angry, and under anger, sisterhood is sadness, is pain. So I
Yeah.
had a lot of pain as a kid, and I couldn't express it. So anger came through. So the military came to my school when I was in high school, and I barely graduated high school. Like I got transferred to the alternative high school, and this high school is like
Mm,
all the pregnant girls and the drug dealers basically go to this high school, and it's like they teach you nothing. You color in fucking bullshit, and you're in grade 12. Like you're like, is this really like is this a joke? But it's like it's the alternative high school. Because in America, if you don't graduate, you can't even work at McDonald's. Like you need a high school diploma,
oh,
or you
wow.
can't work at Mickey D's. Like nothing. Like you are looked on as less than human if you don't have a GED, a high school diploma.
Wow.
So it's wild here because they tell kids to leave at 16 or 15. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you don't know nothing. But they're like
Yeah.
going off to do trades and it works. It works here. They're not forcing them into school. So I was like, cool. I finally transferred back to the normal school and literally walked across that grass and graduated by a little hair. And the military came to our lunch. So we have like a cafeteria and they'll be like an expo almost, which is actually really terrible to think that they would just set up shop and try to sell kids shit, right?
Yeah.
So the
Mm,
military was there and they were like doing a push-up challenge and I was a tomboy. I was very girly from grade 9 onwards, but grade up to grade 9, like grade 8, 7, 6, I wore size 40 waist jeans, size 40, okay? That's like so big, like
huge. Yeah.
massive jeans, filas, like big ass t-shirts,
Oh my
bandanas.
gosh.
Oh my God, I was like this little body with all these clothes. I was
Yeah.
fighting. I was a real little hood rat. Like I would pick fights with people. I was not a good kid when I was little, but I was
Yeah.
in pain. So that's what
Yeah.
I'll say about that. She was a bit crazy. And
Mm,
then come grade 9, I found tight clothes. And like I went from baggy to skin painted on dresses,
mm,
girly, trying to be girly. So when the military came to the cafeteria, I was like doing push-ups and my friends were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "This is cool. They say they'll pay for 4 years of any state college or university. I'm poor. I did terrible in school, barely graduated. So I knew I wasn't going to get to go to college. And I thought, like everybody, the American dream or Australian dream, I'm sure every country has it,
yeah.
that I had to go to college. And so when they came into the picture and they were like, "We'll pay for college," I was like, "My mom's poor. We can't do it. I'm going to join the military."
Mm,
And at the time, my boyfriend, my high school sweetheart, Gio, he was wanting to join the military and do the same thing. I wanted to be an actress. So I wanted to live in LA. LA is like 6 hours from Boston. So it's like East Coast, West Coast. So I
mm,
wanted to go to the West Coast and go live in Hollywood and do this like acting dream.
yeah.
Such bullshit. Anyway, so much harder than what we think. But, I had this dream. So I was like, they're going to pay for college. I'll move to LA with Gio. Gio will go to the Marines. I'm going to join the Army because it's not as crazy. The Marine Corps is full on. Like a lot of women don't join the Marines because it's very full on. They're just masculine and really harsh. And so I'm like, I'll join the army. So I graduated high school when I was like 17, almost 18 years old. And that high school, graduation, I went to boot camp for my, high school end of year thing. Everybody's like going places.
Mm,
I'm like, I'm going to boot camp. So I went to boot camp, and the first week of boot camp, Aaliyah passed away. She died in that plane crash. And I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, like I should have known all this shit was going to be bad, because I was obsessed with Aaliyah. Like that really hurt. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Mm,
She passed away. Halfway through boot camp, it's 2 months. I'm month one in, and they put us in this room, and they opened the door, and there was a TV, and we're like, what the fuck is this? It was like, I don't know, 9 a.m. We were shining our boots, and they're like, everybody get in this room, close the door. They turn the TV on, and the second tower was being hit live. And we were just looking around, everybody's crying. I mean, drill sergeants that were in your face screaming just turned human. It was like, oh my
mm,
God, they're crying. I'm like, this, what the fuck is going on? So they shut the TV off, and they said, this country is going to war, and you will be going to war. And I was just like, what? Like, they let us call home. I called Gio, who was in the Marines. His base got locked down. He's like, babe, we're leaving. We're going to go to Kuwait. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is life? Like, what is this? Because like,
mm,
we were just joining for the back in the day. I was born in 83. Back in the day, we didn't know about war. We didn't have war. We didn't have any of that in our upbringing, you know? So
mm,
for us to get hit and then be like, you're going to war. Nobody joined the military back then for war. We joined to go to college. Let's be honest. We're
mm,
poor. They get you. They get you, man. They pay you really well. You become uneducated because you don't go to college. You learn military shit. You get used to the big paycheck. You end up having sex with someone that you meet along the way, have babies. Now you're really fucked.
right.
Who's going to
Yeah.
pay you 5K, 6, 7K a month with no education in the military? So you become like, it's a bit of like a industrialization in itself in the
Mm,
military. A lot of people of color join, and then there's no one else we can do.
yeah.
So I was like, what? Like, I didn't join to go to war. So from that moment, that next 30 days of boot camp, the next month and a half, they were like, all right, hold the gun. You do this. The rifle's this way. You okay? You're going to shoot. And they were like, they're putting kids at war. So they were really, it was a different vibe from the first month that we were there. And then when I finished, I ended up not going to war. Gio ended up going to, he did a whole tour and was in Kuwait, and we ended up getting married, not telling anyone, because they're not going to tell a girlfriend. They're going to call a wife. And so I was like, yo,
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to happen to you. So we're going to do this. And when he ended up coming back, it was great because he came back from war. We were like, amazing. And I hadn't done my acting. So I was just on the base waiting for him, doing random jobs, not really doing what I wanted to do, because it wasn't as easy as what I thought when I was 16 years
Yeah.
old, living in LA. You need to sleep on someone's couch, and you got to go to auditions. You need a fucking car. So I was like,
Yeah.
this is so hard. So I just kind of put it to rest. And then when we moved to Florida and he started going to school, I again felt like, oh, the dream. What happened to the dream? So like, if you're listening to this, when have you not listened to your intuition? When did you say, I
Yes.
can't do that right now? I can't do that. You keep putting it aside, but the dream keeps knocking,
Yeah.
if it's really truly a dream. And I still want to be an actress. Like I said to Hamish yesterday, I'm going to take classes because I fucking love performing.
Yes.
So the dream was knocking. The dream was knocking. A girl said to me, let's do modeling and acting. And anyway, so the modeling came in, and that's kind of how it happened. So Monday to Friday, I'm in the army in my, boots and it was very comfortable, those outfits. I was
Yeah.
in my
Really.
little, like my little boots and it was like pajamas, like
Yeah.
wearing that. Having to listen to people that were in charge was annoying because half of them don't know what the fuck they're doing, but that's the military. So I'm doing that. And then on the weekends, I'm going to Miami doing fucking video shoots with like these Latin, like Pitbull and all these Latin reggaeton
Mm,
people. And then during the day, I'm 9 to 5. So I was lucky because it was a 9 to 5 in Orlando, Florida, which is like Disneyland. Disney's there. So it was
yeah.
like so chilled. It wasn't a base. And then on the weekends, I would just do what I did. I would start selling my magazines to like the people that worked in my unit. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll come to your car show. I'm like, come to the car show. But like, I'm
Wow.
supposed to be like this military personnel. And then on the weekends, I'm in fucking bikinis like, hey, what's up, Sergeant? Whatever, like just like, I'm sure that, I don't even know if that was legal. I'm sure it wasn't illegal, but probably not
Yeah.
ideal. So it was a real twisted time, but I'm a Gemini. I'm a manifesting
Mm,
generator. I love 17 different things all at
yes.
once. So it really
That's me
spoke
as
to
well.
me. Yeah. Right. Like it just spoke to me. Like I was never a dull moment in my life. I wasn't bored. And then Gio was doing music at Full Sail. Like he was a music producer. So he was making beats, and like it was just a fun at that
Wow.
at that time before the crazy death and fucked up shit happened.
Yeah.
It was a real interesting, crazy time. But I realized as well with my worthiness lesson that we shared,
Yeah.
I was just showing my body and on magazine covers and doing, I was never the girl to shake her ass. I would always say to them, listen, I'm not going to shake my ass in a bikini for $700. I'm not that one. Like those girls
Yeah.
over there will do it, but I'm not doing that. And they're like, that's cool. So I was never like degrading myself sexually. I
Yeah.
would just take photos and I loved that. And I still love that. But I saw like how I was looking for this validation. And when Gio died, I was still doing it, like looking to feel something, looking to feel
Yeah.
like I was worthy. Um, and that was one thing that I would say, like a lot of young people don't know. They just like, I want to be beautiful. I want people to think I'm pretty. I want to have followers. I want to have likes. It's like none of
Yes.
those external things will ever make you feel like you're enough, ever.
Yes.
None of them. And you will chase them until you're 90 years old. And that wasn't it, you know? So it was an interesting time, very interesting time. I can't believe I did the military. If I look back, I would never want my kids to join. I would never do it again.
Yeah.
I don't think what I thought it wasn't. And now what I know about how they send people to war to fight about fucking some crazy shit,
Stupid
like,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
stupid shit, like young
Yeah.
people losing their life and they think it's patriotic. And I'm like, yo, we're just robotic. Like it's just
Yeah.
sad. But you know, I give it up to everybody who does join the military. It's a big gig to do. But yeah, 10 years. It was wild, crazy time.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
so interesting.
It's
What a
crazy.
life you have lived.
Oh,
You've
I feel
got an
like I'm 99.
amazing, amazing
I'm
story. Such a,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
such an amazing story.
Mm.
Going back to validation as well. I'm 30 this year, and
Oh,
I feel like last year retreat, actually, the retreat I went on with you, that was
yeah.
when I was noticing so many places where I was just, trying to get outside validation, like all
Mm.
this outside validation. And
Yeah.
then it was like, wow, that all makes so much sense. And I had to tell myself, like, Leash, like, you need to validate yourself. Stop looking
Totally.
for it everywhere else. Like,
It's so hard
validate
though.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like one of those FWT concepts. Like, yeah, you gotta love yourself.
Mm,
How? Like, how the fuck do you? I hate myself.
yeah.
I hate my body. I hate who I am. I hate my past. How do I love myself? How do I validate myself? And it was like, I think that exercise that we did, that child exercise, that shit is
Yes.
woo. That I still do
Yeah.
that. I did that 2 weeks ago in school. My teacher did it in front of the whole class for me, and I was
Oh, wow.
bawling my eyes out. And I've already healed my inner child supposedly, but it's
Yeah.
like we can't do enough work with that little us that didn't get what she
Yes.
needed because you do that, like you do more and more of that, you won't need anyone. You'll be fucking genuinely, no one knows. I don't know me. So how the fuck do you know me? You
Yeah.
don't know me because I don't know me. So whatever version of me you think you know, I'm not even her anymore. Like five
Yeah.
minutes ago, she's not here. So like
Yes.
I don't like that's why I don't let like I feel bad for them. I feel bad for somebody who judges me and thinks that they know who I am and it makes them feel better about themselves because they judge me. I'm like, yo, if that's what you're doing with your 24/7, you're fucking
Yeah.
24 hours a day, like good, do that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm gonna worry about living instead of watching or talking about somebody else live. And
Yeah.
you start realizing that other people are gonna think what they want about you. You'll never control what people
Mm,
think. You can't even control what you think.
yeah.
I can't control my thoughts. I could control what I believe, but I can't control what I think. I be thinking all kinds of crazy shit all the time about when I'm on a
Mm,
plane, if we're gonna crash, I'm gonna die, and then this is gonna happen. And I'm like, what are you doing, brain? But my brain goes off. And yours does too. Everybody listening, your
yeah.
brain, you're not controlling it. So imagine you can't control your thoughts. You're gonna try to control what someone else thinks about you.
Oh, yes.
That shit's like get another job. That's never gonna be, it's never gonna happen.
Yes.
So I just go, I learned from Byron Katie when I did that podcast with her, which I was just like, I don't even know how
Mm,
that happened because that is insane. But it happened. I got it on tape and I
yes.
was like, I said to her, like, how do you deal with that? And she was just like, I'm generous. I'm generous. I let you think whatever you want about me because I'm a generous person. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be generous. You can think what you want about me. Like, how nice
Yeah.
is that? You know, like I
Yes.
was like, hey, Byron Katie, that was good, you know?
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
let it go and then you live your fucking life, which is already complicated enough to live your own damn
Yeah.
life. You don't worry about other people. Like, fuck, that's too much work. Put that down and you'll free up some energy, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible with Byron Katie. She's incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like we've talked about so much goodness on this podcast. I love it so much. I can't wait to listen back to it. I can't wait for everyone to hear it as well. Like it's freaking incredible.
Tag this woman
Yeah.
and review her
I'll be
podcast,
over it.
please.
Yeah. Yes,
Go and
please.
review it because
Yes.
we need these reviews so other women can listen to you because
Yes.
you're sharing some beautiful, I know you're sharing the raw realness and
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your experience about sisterhood and and I know that when we talk about it, everybody in our community, we talk about it from a space of
Mm,
like we want everybody to have something like this, not like, let's
Yes.
get more members, you know, like we don't want
Yeah.
members. We want women doing this work, whether it's with us, whether it's working with you, Leash, whether it's working with anybody, like, but we
Just
have to do
something.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
do this because this shit changes
Yes.
the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I love you so much.
I love you.
You're incredible, and I can't wait to keep doing everything I do with you. Thank you
Yes,
so
I
much.
love you. Thank you.